Hi guys, my name is Royston Joshua and I'm from A2A Mentorship Program. In this video, I'll be teaching you about some of the basic CSS units. So let's begin. Okay, so let's start with the basic ones, that is pixel and percentage. Pixel is like a dot on your screen. So one pixel is one dot on your screen. So that means here if you can see 200 pixels is somewhat like 200 dots on your screen. And it doesn't matter how big or small is your screen, it will still show 200 pixels. So that's why I made a comparison of pixel versus percentage here. Mainly 25% is nothing but 25% of the parent. So here 25% means 25% of this size. And when it comes to the second one, if you see the 25% has become less in the second one, because in the second container, the width of the container is 300 pixels. So that is 25% of the 300 pixels here. So that comes around, you can say 75. So if you inspect this one, I can show you here. So if you come here, you can see here 75. So that is 75 pixel. That doesn't change. So in case if I change the size of this window now, you can see that first 25% box is changing as I increase the screen size, and it is decreasing as I again decrease the size of the window. But if you see the second container, the 25% doesn't change at all, because the second cart, it doesn't change the width. The width is fixed to 300 pixels. So that is the main difference between 25% and 200 pixel. Okay, so now let's move on to the next two types of units, that is rem and em. Em and rem are relative length units used to define size in the web page. Em stands for em height or em width. The unit em is based on computed value of the font size of the element. It represents the font size of the element itself. If the element font size is 16 pixel, 1 em is equal to 16 pixel. So let me show you that in the screen. So here, if you see one EM and one EM, there is difference here because one EM here would be 16 pixel, but one EM here is 40 pixel. If you see here, I've declared the size font size as 40 pixel for this second part of the page. So by default, one EM would be 40 pixel here. It is understood 2 EM is 80 pixel because two times the size of this parent font size. But if you see one rem, two rem here. So what is rem now? Rem stands for root em. It is depending on the root size of the page. So it doesn't matter if you put it in any container or any section of the page. It depends on the root size. If the root size of the page is 16 pixel, which is the default size in many of the web pages, one rem would be 16 pixel and two rem would be 32 pixel. So if you see here, 2 rem, 1 rem. 1 rem is 16 pixel and 2 rem is 32 pixel. But when it comes to this second part of the page, it still remains the same because it is from the root of the page. So as the root size is 16 pixel, one RAM would be 16 pixel, two RAM would be 32 pixel in both the cases. But when it comes to EM, it depends on the parent font size. So here the parent font size by default, as I mentioned, it is 16 pixel. But when it comes to the second page, here I have mentioned font size as 40. So one EM here is 40 pixel and two EM here is 80 pixel. Okay, so now let's discuss about viewport units. So there are two types of viewport units, that is viewport width and viewport height. When you put the size in terms of viewport, viewport width will be 25 VW and viewport height will be 25 VH. So what is this VW and VH? These are the units in CSS that are relative to viewport's dimension. So what is a viewport now? Viewport is the visible area on the web page displayed within a browser window. It's typically this area which is visible on the browser now. This doesn't count, only this part of the browser. That is called viewport. The viewport size depends on different screens, because on a desktop, the viewport is typically the size of the browser window. But when it comes to mobile devices, the viewport is smaller, corresponding to the screen's dimension. But sometimes due to different pixel densities and scaling, the viewport width in CSS may not be directly translate to the physical screen width. Now I'll show you what is VW and VH. So here if you see now, this is the visible part of screen, I mean the browser window. When it comes to 25 VW, that is the 25 viewport width. That is the width of this visible area from this part of screen till this part of the screen in the browser. If you see here in the second part, I've put one more container and the width is 300 pixels. I've mentioned it here. Again, 25 VW doesn't change because, as I said, it is the viewport size. I mean, the size of the browser window. If this is the part which is visible on your screen, that means 25 VW is the 25% of this width. So now if I change the width, you might be able to see some difference. So let me change the size here. Okay. So as I increase the size of the window, you can see now 25 VW has increased in both the cases. So it doesn't depend on the container, it will increase. Same goes with 25 VH. So viewport height. What height is available on your screen? So now if you see, there is a scroll bar here and the visible area is from this point till this point only. The part below this doesn't count because viewport means the visible area on your screen, not off the screen. That's why 25% of this height is this 25 VH. So let me decrease the size of this window. Okay. Now let me decrease the height. So if you see the height of that 25 EH card is decreasing as I decrease the size of this window. So now if I scroll down here again, the height of the second viewport has also decreased because the visible area is only so much. So 25% of this height. So that is 25 VH. That is all about the CSS units. Hope you like this video. If you have any feedback, please feel free to put it in the comments. So thank you for watching. Until next time, ciao.